Hi YouTube, and happy Friday. Thank dog it's Friday. In tonight's video I'm going to give you my 750 mile update on this Strida 5.0, probably from the mid to late 2000s. Just a couple days ago I recorded my 250 mile update on the 81 Panasonic Sport 1000. Indeed, just an hour ago or so I rode back on my Panasonic Sport 1000 from some volunteer work with Rockville Bike Hub. I hope I'll be able to feature them and their new location in Twin Brook in a future video. That said, I just want to talk a little bit about my more recent experiences with the Strida 5.0. I think I've had now a couple updates. I remember I had a 500 mile update. The more I ride this bike, the more I enjoy it. It is quirky, it is weird, it is unusual, but I think this is really one of the lowest maintenance, most practical, most reliable folding bikes that you can get. There's some point, I think, between 500 and 1,000 miles where I got really good at modulating those disc brakes there, and now not only do I come to a fast stop, I can really, very gently modulate the braking. I did do some adjustment of the rear disc brake pads. Let's see if I can show you those. Probably can't show you those. Because I think one of the pads is worn down, so I just tightened it a little bit to get the brake to engage again. I'm sure at some point I'll have to replace that. What's happened now is I've gone pretty comfortable coasting down hills with this. That's really I think where it's gone from being a pretty convenient little bike to ride to a very comfortable one to ride. I used to do 10-mile loops through the Kentlands neighborhood of Gaithersburg, just north of me, on this bike, and I found it was a great PT bike. It was a physical therapy bike. It was long, extended downhills and coasts, really helped work soreness out of my joints. But now, more recently, I've turned that 10-mile ride into a 12-mile ride, and as I've told friends, I've probably talked about in prior videos, I'm overcoming my fears one ride at a time. I've started going down the unprotected Maryland 28 bike lanes, down not a steep hill, but a pretty gentle hill. And I used to be quite uncomfortable with that on this bike, but I've gotten to a point where I can keep a very stable. I don't want to say straight line, but I feel very much in control of the bike now. Just coasting down a hill. I think part of it is just making a point of not trying to pedal and speed up going down a hill. Just enjoying that potential energy being turned into kinetic energy without any of my input. Going back to prior updates, just sort of reiterating, I think if you have one of these, you definitely want to put some bar ends on the end of the bars. That really helps when climbing or when accelerating. And also, this fits me quite well at 5'10", but it technically I guess would give you a little more knee clearance when you're going up hills. I talked about the bell. That's been a nice addition and a good placement. And then I think in a prior update I talked about the tires. This had some Kenda tires on it, which are okay. I mean they're pretty basic tires. After 250 or 220 miles, they popped with a very loud bang. At least the rear one did when I was going downhill. I was safe. I probably, should be embarrassed to admit that. But since then, replacing them with these pro-grade Continental Ride Tour tires, I've had such a good experience. They are pretty heavy tires. They are pretty beefy tires. I haven't had any flats. I don't anticipate getting any. But much like the ride tours on my Fuji S10s, I found that although these are kind of beefy and hefty and have that oh wow, more like a off-road or gravel tread, the ride quality is incredibly good. A bit slower to accelerate, but this soaks the tires, you know, alone or soak up the bumps quite well. In addition to this kind of cool bottom tube to front tube joint. So that's just something that I probably talked about before, but I think is worth reiterating. I pump these up to about 80 psi, and I find that's more than enough, and I haven't had any issues with that, you know, being too much. I think the bead's quite good quality, and the rims are decent. I haven't had any. I might have had one loose spoke, but contrary to what I read online, I haven't had any spokes snap or spokes pop, even though this is a 16-inch. Oh, I'm trying to remember the ISO. Yeah, I think it's 305. Yep, yeah, ISO 305, 16-inch rim. I know these are prone to having spokes break, whether, you know, a Strida or a Dayhan, or I think Brompton's 349 or something weird. Anyhow, you know, it's very difficult to, I've heard it's kind of difficult to true a 16-inch rim, but I've had a really good experience. I did get some spokeless plastic rims as a backup, just in case. The kickstand's definitely been great. Lights in front and rear. Again, the more I ride this, the more comfortable it feels. I tend to ride this, you know, after I have some soreness from, you know, a metric century or a real long ride. But I do plan to do a metric century on this at some. Oops. I just touched a spiny stick. I do plan to do a metric century on this at some point in the not too distant future into the district, into DC and back. It's just a lot more comfortable than you think it is. I was also going to talk about speed. I talked about, you know, how comfortable it is and how, you know, I'm getting used to the kind of weird ergonomics. You'd think this is a 10-mile-an-hour bike or like a walking replacement. You know, I heard people, I myself, I think, describe this as like a fast walking bike. But now that I've adjusted to this, I can average 13 to 14 miles an hour in rides. So I wouldn't underestimate the speed of this bike. I'm also getting good at folding it up into a roller shape. A stroller shape, excuse me. And who knows, maybe one day I'll take this up to Philadelphia, New York City, or Boston and do some rides with it here. It's, you know, it is a freewheel single speed, but I find that's more than enough, even in hilly Montgomery County, Maryland, out here. Anyhow, so that's just a quick 750-mile update on my Strida. I can't wait for my 1,000-mile update. I can't wait to do a metric century. And I'm also hoping, now that it's 70, 80 degrees out here, that I start riding the Strida and other bikes to more destinations in Montgomery County and have some videos during the ride to share with you about all the cool places that you can find just through biking, just through walking in this area. I'm seeing more and more people riding. I think in my 2-hour ride tonight, I must have seen 15 people, I think, biking, which means I think we're getting a critical mass. I think we're getting to a point where people realize you really can bike 20, 30 miles, 30 miles, 40 miles, you know, even more around these suburbs and see all kinds of cool things, whether historic churches, a water tower painted like the planet Earth, or Fleming's Ultimate Garage with all kinds of cool old cars that you can see on Loft Strand Lane on the east side of Rockville. And no, I was not paid to say that. All right, well, with that, I wrap up this 750-mile update on my trusty, low-maintenance, super reliable, super compact, single-speed Strida 5.0 from probably about 2008. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any thoughts, comments, or suggestions or questions, leave them in the comments down below. And if you like what you see, please like and subscribe as always. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great start to your weekend.